it.
Hurting the corners here. Yesterday, nothing short of a disappointment for the Cowboys. They hung their hat on being dominant at home, but after scoring 40 points in each of their first 3 home games, they put up just 17 last night. Again, one of the touchdowns was on a blocked punt. Yeah. And so now they have fallen hopelessly behind the Eagles, it would appear, in the NFC East, and so have the Washington Commanders, who, as we speak, are awaiting the results of an MRI on Jayden Daniels' dislocated elbow. He got hurt late in the fourth quarter. The Commanders were down 38-7. By now, you're aware of the circumstances. Yesterday, head coach Dan Quinn admitted Daniels should not have been in the game.
I know many of you have been asking about the thought process of Jayden being in the game in that situation. I get that. I've been thinking about it, honestly, nonstop, too. And, for me, the answer is, man, I missed it. Of course he could scramble. It's Jayden. It's what he's special at. And that is 100% that's on me.
You don't hear that all the time.
No, it's the right thing to say.
It's the right
thing.
Yeah. Jeff, I'm curious, you had a brief stint there where you were a head coach, but that sort of thing, I'll start with you. Like, what is your reaction to Daniels being in the game, and then to how Quinn handled it yesterday?
Yeah, I think he had no business being in the game at that point, and I think Dan Quinn acknowledges that and knows it, right? This is a guy who literally just came back from injury. So you're already thinking you're in a blowout game. You're not thinking we're going to have a shot to come back this late in the fourth quarter. And again, he has been known to take shots, right? And some which you would consider unnecessary shots, because he wants to extend plays. He wants to do the good things for his team. But there has to be a point, and not only the head coach, but from the player's perspective, where you realize losing a battle is much better than losing the war. And he has to understand his availability is the only thing that keeps them playoff relevant. And that's just a fact, right? This is no knock on backup quarterbacks, but he has to be able to play, and he's missed too many games. Even last year he missed a couple games, but this year it becomes too hard. And what Dan Quinn did is own it, and I appreciate it.
I want to ask you a question about that, because you pointed out on the meeting this morning, Peyton Manning always understood that, was very good about it, not taking unnecessary hits. Obviously his style of play was very different than Jayden Daniels. But this is I'm asking you a question because I would imagine that if I'm a superstar quarterback, one of the things I want to do is be one of the guys, is endear myself to the guys, is, whatever you're dealing with, I'm dealing with. And then to separate myself by saying, but I have to take care, you're going to put yourself in harm's way, but I can't. Yeah. I can see that being a difficult thing for a quarterback to do.
No, bro. Different share in the room. And you're totally okay with it, right? Like I would make fun of P. I'd be like, bro, go into the fetal position. The minute he thinks pressure's coming, right to the fetal, right thumb in mouth, ball down, protect it, whatever it is, right? Like there was no bravery. We're coming out of 18, right? But he understood. We got no shot without you. And I think that's what you have to understand if you're Jayden Daniels. As man, we know what you're capable of doing, and you will take us to places. The NFC Championship game as a rookie, there just has to be balance. And also, I'll equate this to like Josh Allen. You've watched Josh Allen learn the difference between when you need to and when you want to, right? When you need to, this was not a need to, bro. Yep. This was a want to. Just understanding your football, intelligence, your IQ, and football, understanding the moment, that was not a moment to risk it.
I mean, it's just like about the same as throwing the ball into tight coverage. Some situations, we got to have it. We're going to throw into tight coverage. Some situations, you just got to go ahead and slide or throw the ball away, give up on it. I think it's fair to be critical of Jayden Daniels in that, but he's never shown that he has that propensity to make those decisions. I will say, though, that Dan Quinn, you don't have to be a head coach to recognize that in accountability plays, like everywhere, no matter where you are. I think that's why Dan Quinn is like there. It doesn't change what happens, but I think the players and the fans and the ownership all appreciate that. He's like, look, I had some time to think about it. Nobody's fault but my own.
That's pretty.
And I think I've heard head coaches say it with young quarterbacks who like to scramble and like to run. For a lot of those guys, you don't learn your lesson until you wake up on a Monday and you're feeling what those decisions on Sunday led to. Yeah. I think for Jayden Daniels, as we talk about his play style, knowing when to slide, knowing when not to, and that whole conversation, you look at this injury and the way it all happened late in the game, this may be a lesson learned to his left arm, not his throwing arm, not his legs, that won't change his ability to play, that hopefully he learns from and says, you know what, like, I have to make those decisions. Yes, Dan Quinn as a head coach with a young quarterback who's shown you time after time that he's not ready to take that leap, he shouldn't have been in the game. Yeah. But for Jayden Daniels to take the next step for himself to protect himself, hopefully this injury, like you come back and like, I have to do a better job of that.
I think that's an important point you make about how it's not a leg injury, right? It's not a knee. It's not like that will heal and he'll be fine and he'll come back and play. When? We don't know. It might not be until next year. But the fact of the matter is, it's a low impact. It's not like RG3's rookie year where he hurts his knee and was never the same. So I think Dan Quinn said after the game they took like the RPO stuff out because they didn't want to put him in harm's way even though he's still in the game. So now you're acknowledging that maybe there's some level of risk you don't want to assume. And then yesterday he's saying, what was I thinking? Of course he's going to scramble. That's one of the things he does best. So I should have just prevented that from by taking him out of the game. So lesson learned there. But it's tough, man. I mean, no, the quarterback's not going to ask out of the game, right?
No,
so,
100%. That's where you would lose respect. Let me say this about coaching too, where Drake Maye is a good comparison with Jayden Daniels, right? These two young quarterbacks, both athletic, both like to do things, both take unnecessary risk at times, in my opinion. But this is like where Kingsbury and Josh McDaniels have to get in these QB's ears, man. It is ingrained in my head. We have it on shirts that Tom Moore quotes, who was our offensive coordinator with Peyton Manning for so many years. 1, 2, 3, throw it away, live to play the next play. Like he would tell him there has to be a clock in your head, but it's a coaching it's a coaching concept, right? Where we extend the plays.
So hard with
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is, it's not going to be 1, 2, 3 for Jayden Daniels, right? But there's going to be something in your head where you go, okay, here's the clock, man. We got because we used to do extend the play drills with Aaron Rodgers, but there has to be a moment when that quarterback understands. Throw it away. Like I can't do any more. This play is bust. We're gonna live. We're gonna live and play another play. And I think that's the thing where coaches got to grab young players and emphasize that.
Believe it or not, or Jeff, how do we say it?
Believe it
or not, a sophomore quarterback edition. J-Mac, will start with you. If I said Drake Maye and the Patriots are going to be the 1 seed in the AFC, do you believe it or not?
Believe it!
Nailed it.
But the New England Patriots, the trajectory that Drake Maye has been on this season, even this past Sunday when he had some mishaps, had fumbles, had turnovers, did things uncharacteristically of how he's played the last few weeks, still managed the last drive of the game, making the throw to put that game away. I'm saying the Patriots continue to ascend upward.
You two guys had that game this weekend. By that, I mean, J-Mac did it on the TV, and Graz, you covered it for us on Countdown. Can you describe the feeling, the vibe in New England right now? Like, we're doing all these pieces on Mike Vrabel. It feels like it is like the best place in the whole NFL right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're feeling fantastic. They won 6 games in a row, and Vrabel's pushing every right button with these pregame intros. And like after the game, they didn't play their best game. There was plenty to work on. They got kind of lucky at the end. Atlanta missed the extra point. But Vrabel in the postgame was still talking about the importance of joy and all this kind of, I mean, like there is a good vibe there. And by the way, Tampa Bay this week, that's tougher than Jets, Bengals, Giants, Bills, who they already beat. Like they're
and then
set
they
up
have the
for that
Jets
1 seed.
again and the Dolphins
Yeah.
again. They have a lot of what would appear to be very winnable games the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I like the way that they've been playing on defense. They need to eliminate the big plays that they've given up. But when you look at their defense, they're a solid defense. They'll make mistakes that give up big plays, but I think that'll go away with coaching and as the season goes on. You can see that they can hang with anybody defensively.
I wonder if they'll add to that defense by 4 o'clock.
Remember, it's trade deadline day. Graziano will have anything if it comes up live while we're here. Meanwhile, Jeff, let's stay, again, a sophomore quarterback edition. If I said Caleb Williams and the Bears are going to win the NFC North, believe it or not.
Not. Listen, I love where they are. They are further ahead than I anticipated they would be at this point. I love what Caleb Williams did last week to come back. Obviously, the walk-off touchdown for the Bears offense. They've already lost to the Lions one time, kind of a blowout loss. They got to play them again. I think the division is too tough for them to win it. If they make the playoffs in general, I think it is an absolute win for this football team. The way that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are working together is already a win. Yeah. So we just got to have some nice things without getting too crazy.
Yeah, Caleb had an insane stat line in this game where he had over 250 passing, 50 yards rushing, and 2 receptions, 1 for a touchdown.
Yeah.
If you have to do all of that in the game, then you deserve some celebration. You deserve to win a game that they probably otherwise should have lost. So this team, I don't think, to Jeff's point, is going to win the division, but they will be competitive. I think they will sneak into the playoffs.
The answer to that question could be, I don't think they're the best team in the division, but that doesn't mean they can't win it. Weird things are happening. Like the Lions and Packers performances this past weekend, I found bordering on alarming. Like for the Packers to sleepwalk through another game like that, and then the Lions. Could someone remind them they have Jahmyr Gibbs and Jamison Williams? I mean, it feels like someone needs to tell them that.
Vikings had a good plan on defense, and the Panthers are 5-4 somehow. So, look, I think those two teams are still better than Chicago. But I guess to your point, I mean, they're right there. Maybe Chicago gets better by 4 o'clock this afternoon, and maybe the Tucker Kraft injury is more devastating to the Packers than we even realize. Yeah, I mean, look, there's half a season left.
Yeah.
There's so much time, Evan. The question is, their defense was forcing turnovers at a crazy rate. Now, when you come back down to the pack, how are they going to continue to perform?
That's right.
That's the question mark. But Caleb Williams is taking that step to Jeff's point, is what you love to see.
Also, most of the teams they play are going to find a way to tackle Colston Loveland on that when he catches it in front of 2 other guys and somehow
Or they'll be looking for jobs.
They got a vice tackle.
Yeah, they got a vice.
They got a vice
tackle.
We need to get Dan-O to show him what vice tackling looks like in the defensive back.
Dan ain't never made a tackle in his life.
Never learned how to vice tackle. Only on TV, Dan-O.
Inside jokes, guys. Inside jokes.
One more sophomore quarterback staying in the division. Domonique, if I said J.J. McCarthy is going to lead the Vikings to the playoffs, do you believe it or not?
Not. Like, I think that they need a lot more from him. I think what happened in this game was impressive team win. Yes. You're going to be asking for a lot. This defense has not been as solid as they've been in the past. They showed up against the Lions this game. So I don't know. I have a hard time imagining that if they get to a situation where they put a lot more responsibility on McCarthy, that he's going to be able to do it. And I don't see the defense creating as many explosive plays as they did last season.
Okay, so I love what you said. I will say this about the Vikings. This was the best plan that they have had together.
Executed, man.
They basically took Detroit's model for winning and used it against them. I mean, they ran for 130 yards on early downs, played physical, which takes the pressure off of McCarthy, and they brought these blitzes to these cross dogs all day, and when the Lions couldn't answer it, they just stayed with physicality, which is not...
This one point is I think sometimes when you have these interdivisional games and there's a top dog in the division, you in that division spend your entire offseason
for sure
practicing and preparing for that particular game and building your roster for that game. Then you win that game, and then we see them against other teams. It's like, this ain't the same thing. So, like, I think the Vikings showed up for this incredible game. They'll be good other situations, but I'm not sure they'll execute as well the rest of the season.
7 weeks from now, right? Then in his 10th NFL start than he was in his 3rd. And I think that's the question on which the Vikings season rests, because right now, 140 passing yards, he makes some great plays in this game. The throw that puts the game away at the end to Addison is a throw. I mean, most teams in that situation are going to run and punt, right? And they ask him to make that throw, a back shoulder, and he makes it. Like, there's stuff there. There's no question about it. We don't have enough information on J.J. McCarthy to be able to forecast the rest of the Vikings season, and I think it could go a number of different ways.
2 out of 3 wins, bro. At the end, he was a bit of a dude.
And I think that's the part that Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings get excited. When you watch him throughout this game, to Domonique's point, and you look at the stats, they don't blow you away. But there's opportunities within that game where the Lions are bringing a blitz and he checks them into another play. It's the small things that he does to be in his 3rd game, essentially as a rookie, that you get excited about.
He's won 2 games, both in the division, both on the road. Let me give you one more thing. Our next stop, Kansas City, and we've got sneaky big news. And I mean that both literally and figuratively. Yes. Their rookie left tackle in Kansas City, Josh Simmons, has returned to the team after missing 4 games because of a family situation. In those 4 games, Patrick Mahomes was sacked 10 times on 49 pressures, 18 of those pressures against Buffalo on Sunday. And they need help. Because if the season ended today, the Chiefs would be outside the playoffs. It's important to note 3 of their 4 losses have come to the current wild card teams, so they don't have tiebreakers in their favor. So, Dan, I mean, all of us sit here going, they'll be fine, they'll be fine, they'll be fine. It's getting a little late early out here. The return of Josh Simmons feels like it could be critically important.
I think they'll be fine. There are things in my life I worry about. The Kansas City Chiefs are not among them. Like, it is, they're going to be, Josh, they're down basically 3 offensive linemen. Trey Smith, their great guard, has kind of been in and out with injuries. Juwan Taylor, the right tackle. So having Simmons back will help them reset a lot of things. They're going into their bye week. They'll get healthier. I think the Chiefs are fine.
I should have asked Jeff immediately. I mean, how much of a difference does this make? Because the observation we all made yesterday was, Patrick Mahomes got beat up in that game on Sunday.
Oh, and you saw his eyes early drop.
Yes.
But what I mean is all of a sudden he stopped looking down the field and starts looking at that rush. And I've said a million times, the minute, I don't care who you are, right? Superman's kryptonite is pressure on the QB. You start hitting those QBs, they all start looking, which means they lose where their receivers are. They check it down. They want to kind of find little ways to escape and do those things. Buffalo had them going early. When you bring a guy like, you take care of that side, right? So from a quarterback's perspective, no longer am I worried. I know I'm going to have time on that side. Now I can see it coming from my front side. It is a massive addition, him getting back.
Offensive line play doesn't get a lot of attention elsewhere except for here on Tuesdays, but it is so consequential. The only times that we've ever seen Patrick Mahomes lose big games was because the offensive line was deficient. Every other time he's been in a big game, he's won. So I think this Simmons thing is huge. If they can keep him healthy, no one can stick with those receivers for 3.5 seconds.
And that's the thing. We've continued to talk about how much this offense has been different because Rashee Rice has been back. Without Simmons and without that protection, that nullifies the impact that those guys down the field can make.
In spite of it all Sunday, they had a couple of 40-yard throws at the end of the game that could have tied it. They got beat up, and they're still right there with a chance to win the game.
It's super interesting, though, that last year they were were winning a bunch of games, and all of us were worried. This year they're losing a bunch of games, and we're like,
better.
I'm not too worried. Get a tackle, they'll be
You know what we didn't get to find out? I was dying to know if they had converted one of those Hail Marys, would he have gone for the 2 in the win?
Yeah.
I wonder if Andy Reid would have gone for the 2 in the win, as beat up as they were.
They also were pretty bad in short yardage situations.
Like
down
they
there
had
on the
just
goal line.
converted a 2-point conversion, a minute before. Anyway.